You say I talk anyhow on TV. I can talk anyhow because I am that I am. It's at my back. He says I should say it. And I don't fear anybody. I only fear who sent me. Because my life is not even in my hands. So it's in the hands of the one that gives life. So if you think I'm going to fear you, get out! A nation can never grow if the leaders are greedy. Put ethnicity in it. They'll put religion in it. But these things are deeper than ethnicity and religion. Because they need you to be confused about the dimensioning of this system.
Rufai Oseni.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Realm of glory, good morning. So, people say a lot of things about me, but I do not deserve the applause. But let me tell you who deserves it. The one who picked me up as a child that lost his mom before the age of 10 and made me who I am today despite the circumstances around my birth. The one who gave me a voice that you know today that is not mine, but gave me that voice to be able to create an impact in society. All the accolades does not belong to me, and it will be foolhardy of me to take it. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Lion in the tribe of Judah, the Lily of the Valley, the Rose of Sharon, the one who cannot be changed, the one who cannot be subsumed, the one who cannot be quenched, the one who cannot be stood up. Yorubas call him Agbanilagbaton. My Igbo call him Aguna Chemba. He's the real Odogu. He's the real Igwe. The one that saves my life every day. The only one I have. You know, people ask me, Rufai, do you have one Babalawo somewhere? I have Baba Banilagbaton. And I tell them I've never entered any Babalawo's house to go and leak anything, that the one who is my protection, I give all the glory to. So ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not too busy, I want you to do something radical for him. Straight jump! Because he deserves all the glory. Come on! Do something wild for him. We don't know how great he is. Hey. Listen, if you think where you are is by your power, it's a reflection of your direct stupidity. Please, just yada, wave your hands to him. Wave your hands to him. I know no other body. I know no other person. It's the Lord of Lords I know. And that's why I give him all the glory. So during the elections, when they harass me, they don't know my defender is the King of Kings. You say I talk anyhow on TV. I can talk anyhow because I am that I am. It's at my back. He says I should say it. And I don't fear anybody. I only fear who sent me. Because my life is not even in my hands. So it's in the hands of the one that gives life. So if you think I'm going to fear you, get out! Please be seated. So people ask me, where do my courage comes from? My courage comes from he that bred life into me. And I said that boldly because we have a society where people say their courage is with God, but they still go and lick something in the end and say, Baba, give me this to lick. And they call it Bendel Insurance. Yes. In fact, they give it a very funny name. They say, Ibaba Onikamasha Ajo. So they say fortification. So you tell them to put their shirt in public, all sorts of marks. That's not your protection. Our protection is in God. So it is not what you sprinkle in front of your business or your office that makes customers come. It is your good nature and your attitude backed up with God that will make the customers come. A lot of you, they've given you all sorts of things in dry gin and you put in the shop. It doesn't make anybody come. What makes people come? Good nature. 1, 2, backed up by the grace of God. I like the Yoruba Bible that says, the grace of God make it rich and added no sorrow. So please depend on the grace of God. I'm really excited to be in the house today. God bless you. And for me, it's a homecoming because this is the injunction God had given me many years ago. About 20 years when I started media, God said, Rufai, I'm sending you to as an apostle in the marketplace of media. So you are not the conventional journalist. And that's why I say I speak for national development because I have an assignment. I don't come on television to talk because I have to do work and pay my bills. No. I'm an apostle in the media space to be able to change the media space for Christ. And that's the cornerstone of my conviction. So for every time I cannot speak in tandem with what is the truth and reality and for the downtrodden, then I have not failed myself, I have failed God. And that's why we are different. Not everybody apostles in the media space. For me, media is not my career, it's a ministry. There's a difference. That's why when on radio in Lagos, you might have heard me on Inspiration FM for about 10 years running. I've been doing Impact on Sundays where I help a lot of people. Anybody ever heard that? Good, from Inspiration FM days. So I co-founded a radio station recently also called Voice of the People in Lagos and in Abuja. And since then, we've still been impacting people. So if it was about a career path and earning money, I know where to go and earn money. But because life is more important than anything. And you see, we have a nation that have a complete disrespect for life. That's why we are where we are today. That's why because of votes, some people came to scatter you in Okota, beat people up. We saw it. We said it, they threatened us, but we keep telling them the truth. We are not going to stop telling them the truth. So it's people that don't respect life. They think they can hurt life for elections. They say they want your vote, but they kill you to get your vote. They don't respect you. They don't. And that's the country we've built. And this across the political class. And some of these people even claim they are Christians. So you see, being a Christian is not by mounting it. It's indeed where the works of your hands. You're a Christian, but you have to rig to win election. You're not a Christian. You're not a Christian. You want to rig to win election, and after you win the election, you went back and you say, "Oh, I thank God for this miracle. It has happened." That's why after the election, I just asked one question. I say, for those that have won, what did they win? And the question scattered the whole country. I said, go and ban that boy. He's a stupid boy. He said, he has started talking against a stupid boy. He's a stupid boy. But for those that have won, what did you win? When you beat and hurt people to be able to win, you think you have won? You have not won. For the fact you have cheated and they give you something, you think you have won? You have not won. In a matter of time, you will see that the true victory is when you win the hearts of the people. So when you win the fear of the people and you say people are afraid of you, you think you have won? I'm going to be talking about something called the genesis of distortion. And please, big kudos to Reverend Sam. He's a great man. Please, appreciate him. Appreciate Odudubariba himself. Oh, my brother, Mr. Malaki, God bless you. I remember, you see, Mr. Malaki is a great man. I remember the early days of Arise. It was the people we used to call to analyze issues. I remember them. You see, I've learned so much in life. Success does not freak me. When I got to Arise in 2019, nobody was watching Arise. We'll call some guests to book them. They will not come. People like Mr. Malaki will come. But guess what? The same people we used to call, that they don't used to come. When Arise became popular, they started calling me. Me too, I didn't pick their call. Because you know why? The Bible says, do not despise the days of humble beginnings. We're building something that was going to resonate. But you know, life, people are always accustomed to what is big. I always love to be the underdog. You know why? Because I believe the biggest room in the world is the room for improvements. So I am not there yet. The greatest curse anybody can curse you, say you've arrived. I've not arrived though. I'm still bringing bird out of my pocket. I titled it, I said the genesis of distortion. The reason why Nigeria it is today is because there's a genesis to the distortion. It didn't start today. And I'll take you back to some key dates. I'll take you back to the year 1914. The year 1914 was the year they amalgamated the Northern and the Southern Protectorate. But before then, the British had first amalgamated the Southern Protectorate. Because you see, when they came, they met us fighting ourselves. Prior to that time, we have fought the Kiridi and the Jalomi wars. So in the South, for instance, when the British came, the only thing they had to do was just to unite the warring factions. Because the Ijeshakiti Parakpo were fighting deep, the Oyo people and all of that. So we were fighting and we had made a lot of slaves. Most of the people that went from the Kiridi and Jalomi wars were those that went as slaves to Latin America. Those are the people that came back as what we call the Agudaos. These are the likes of the Darochas. So that's why you see that Lagos Island is filled with a lot of Brazilian architecture. They even celebrate Fanti Festival. In fact, we eat frijon in Christmas. Frijon is not native to us. It's Portuguese food. So those were the cultures they brought back. But how did we get those cultures? Because we were fighting. So they said the kingdom of God suffered violence. And all this violence can take place before us. We were already fighting from hitherto. Then the British came, settled the fight, then they colonized. The first inroad of the British in what is called Lagos colony today came in the middle 1800s. When two people too were fighting over the throne of Lagos, Kosoko and Akitoye. So they called in the British to come and settle fights. But you see, when you call a bigger man to come and settle fights of something that is very juicy, what do? They take it from you. So when Akitoye went aboard a ship called the HMS Prometheus on the Lagos Marina here, and he said, the British said, we don't know what you're talking about. Sign this edict that you will cede Lagos to us. So Lagos became a crown colony, and that's why in 1906, the first thing we did was the Southern Protectorate, the other fighting parts of the Yoruba parts, and Lagos colony. And that's why you see up till 1960, in fact, when we gained independence in 1960, residents full born in Lagos had the chance to either choose a British passport or a Nigerian passport. But a lot of them opted for Nigerian passport. So after that amalgamation, they started to rule over us. So guess the things they started to do to us. The first thing they did was they distorted our mindset. That's the genesis of the distortion. So they told you that your black color was never good enough. How did they do it? Indoctrinations. At first, they told you have to go through an education system. And after the education system, they say your language was not good enough, so they taught you in English. Have you ever wondered that if we are taught mathematics in Igbo, there will have been more people with a sound understanding of mathematics than in English? So the first thing you have to do, you have to learn your colonizer's language. And when you learn your colonizer's language, they took away your identity on how to think. So they call your customs and traditions idolatry. And the last thing they did was that they set up a fight between you, because they know if you are united, then there's going to be a problem. You remember the Tower of Babel? Even our God knew the importance of unity. So what did he do? He changed the language. So they set up a fight. And it's so easy. How would they do it? They have agents. Stir up ethnic strife. Yorubas will fight Hausa, Hausas will fight Igbos and all of that. And they fan the embers. And they constantly do it. So the first genesis of distortion was the initial colonialism, and they continued. In fact, they did it up till 1959, when we had the first elections, the 12th of December. You know what they deliberately did? That election, we know who won that election. Who had more votes? The NCNC had more votes. But originally, the British had planned that it was going to be a hung parliament. You know what they call a hung parliament? A hung parliament is when there's no clear winner in a parliamentary system. So you have to form a government of national unity. The British had known that it will be either the Yorubas and the Igbos, the Action Group or the NCSC, and the MPC. The MPC was standard. So that was how they did it, and that was what happened. But they knew that was going to bring a very big problem. You had a boisterous Action Group in opposition. There was going to be problems. And they knew it was not going to last. And they knew that it was going to open more fault lines that led to the war in 66. So have you ever wondered that it was just after 6 years, after the first elections, no, then we had another elections in 64-65 that spanned into 64-65. So pretty much 6 years after the first election and 2-3 years after the second election, then we had a civil war that further deepened the fault line. So the first agent of distortion, and I'm sure we all know that, it will take years for you to recover from such a strife like that. That's why you, the people, need to be united. Yoruba, for an Igbo man, the Yoruba brother is not your problem. For a Yoruba man, an Igbo man is not your problem. For an Hausa man and a Bibo man is not your problem. The thieving political class are your problems. Because of their own greed, and they don't want you to thrive and move further. And because it's always been a fight between the masses and the bourgeoisies. That was what the British too did during the colonial days. They will always build systems of exploitation from you. They will levy you, they will tax you. Number one system of is taxes. Now they want to collect what tax from you? Cyber security taxes. Has your earning increased? So, and that's the mindset of a few continue to get richer, while a lot of people continue to get poorer. Real quickly, how do we break these agents of national distortion? Number one, unity. We must unite across every cultural bound, because our real problems are the perpetrators of evil, not your brother from another tribe. And that's why today I come here on behalf of Nigeria. Anybody that's been caught in any tribal debacle or war, please, I apologize, let's forgive. For this last election, please, let's forgive. We can't continue to hold the hurt so much. It will stop us from progress. These are bad people who want the division to continue so that we will not be able to reason properly for ourselves. So it's a gimmick to set us against each other. You are not my brother. You are not my problem, my brother. You are not my problem, my sister. It is those who are manipulating us that are trying to cause chaos amongst us. So please, whoever is hurt, I beg, on behalf of the integrity and the hope we expect in this country, let's forgive. Secondly, we need to teach our children. You know, I'm always very happy when I see babies. You know, when I see babies, you know what it reminds me? God has not given up on the world. In fact, when I see babies, I say, at least rapture is not coming anytime soon. Because God is still throwing people here. So he has not quit on us. Then parenting, we need to teach our children. Parents, we are not teaching our children enough. Because of the vicissitudes of life, you want to earn, you want to do this. We are neglecting the family. The reason for this problem in Nigeria is that the family structure is dead. We now have a society where people bring things to the house. Parents don't check any longer. Parents don't ask questions. We have Yahoo Boys Mothers Association, and they're proud of it. We need to go back to the home. We need to go back to when parents talk to their children. How many parents still eat dinner with their children? Do you know what the dining table means? It means the bonding table. Please, stop allowing your children to go and eat in the room and eat in different places. All of you talk, see them. Even if you're not saying, look them in the eyes. Dine with them. There are so many things they will tell you over food that they will never tell you when you call them to the room. We are losing that generation. Another thing, we need to hold our politicians accountable. And that's why I say kudos to you, sir. Please, a big round of applause for Reverend. A big round of... So they have set the tone for what become the war, and they are giving it to us at a beat, and we are taking it. So once we are taking it, once we have fought the first civil war and all of that, and when the civil war started, they were the ones too that started selling their weapons. So afterwards, they had started the first genesis of distortion. They had caused hatred amongst us. The hatred means that we will never be able to come together. And please, that's why I say every wall of hatred you have for your brother, break it. Because if they can take our unity, they can take our strength. So once they caused that hatred, we couldn't come together again. And that's what we've been circling with. In the last election, our problem was not about tribe or religion, but they made it about tribe or religion in the end. Because they know the genesis of distortion. So that's the first genesis of distortion. And that's why you see that life in Nigeria has now become something like an Obasian state. It is brutish. We talk about Leah Sharibu. Leah Sharibu is a symptom of a deeper problem. We talk about Nigeria not work. It was not structured in a way that it was going to work. Because people wanted to take it for their own benefits. And that's why they don't like the truth. That's why they want to dominate every sphere. They want to shut people down in the media when you try to rat them out. So they deliberately put all of these things in place so that these systems and these hegemonies will not make you come together or work. You think all of a sudden Boko Haram just starting. It's also part of a grand system. Now that we've properly destroyed parts of this country with kidnapping, insecurity and all of that, it's easy for non-state actors to roam wild. So there was a genesis to the national distortion, and they knew what they were doing. Pre-independence, post-independence. This game is so big that our politicians are just being played as a pawn in the game. But you know why it's easy to play our politicians? Because they see their greed. A nation can never grow if the leaders are greedy. A nation can never grow if the leaders are greedy. Once they see greed, they exploit the greed of the leaders. Have you ever noticed why is it that most African countries are poor? Because their leaders are greedy. And they are taking advantage of the mindset of their leaders to destroy the nations. For what reason? For natural resource. Because they know we are blessed. You know, Nigeria has the capacity to be a 10-15 trillion dollar economy, even more than that. America is going to on 20 trillion now. We have the capacity to be a superpower. But you know, we have so much resource. So the next thing they do is they target the greed of our leaders and the selfish interest of our leaders, and they pull the buckle. So our leaders are so content with them having 5-10 billion in their bank accounts, rather than the collective development of the people. I mean, look at how bad the roads are in Lagos. For a Lagos that collects a lot of taxes. So it's not even about the politicians. It's about the systems that break all of us down, that creates this national distortion. Even with our security system. That's why you see, it will now have different layers. They will put ethnicity in it. They'll put religion in it. But these things are deeper than ethnicity and religion. Because they need you to be confused about the dimensioning of these systems. They don't want you to think and know where it's coming from. So the truth is, you can't grow beyond the system that is fraudulent. That's why you see the way we are today with the Naira. All of a sudden, the Naira that used to be 1-to-1 with the dollar, look at where it is today. It's 1,004 something. When they were defending the Naira and we kept on telling them there are no fundamentals, they thought I was joking. They said, oh, that boy is a stupid boy. Has the Naira not started rising again? For a country that is so much blessed with milk and honey, and its currency cannot be stable, you will know to a large extent that it's because the leaders are not thinking right and they've been sucked in. So maybe sometime soon we'll defend the Naira even more and it will go back to square one again. But please do not think the Naira will go back to where it used to be before. I'm sorry, I'm in the church, I believe in hope and faith, but I'm a realist to the core. I not sabi deceive people. No. If you think it will be 1-to-1, be careful with what you think. Oh. Except we change the systems and the mindset that makes it difficult for us not to be able to produce as a country. Except we become a productive nation. Except we now start to tackle the genesis of this national distortion, we're not going to go anywhere. So, insecurity you are seeing is a symptom. Have you ever wondered why, growing up, the same army that used to be so powerful cannot get rid of bandits? So you think all of a sudden it just happened? It didn't just happen. You think the system just got destroyed like that? It didn't just start. It was systematically, and they kept on seeping into our consciousness and our mindsets. That's why you see it's getting more difficult by the day. But you see, in all of this, for those that have facts and know the Lord, their feet shall be firm on the ground. But the thing is, it's not about just having facts and knowing the Lord. So what are you doing about it in your space? Are you part of the national greed? Because the world has enough to meet human need, not human greed. So we have a leadership that wants to meet their greed and meet our need. It can never be possible. That's why you see how much trillion, 26.7 trillion budgets. It's not going to go far. You know why? There's so much greed. A lot of people want to eat. Egunje. So those are the real agents of distortion. Except you understand that these systems are systems that were built inherently not to make Nigeria work, we will be fooling ourselves. And people like Leah Sharibu and other people that have been caught in the crossfire of Nigeria are just victims in all of this. They're just symptoms. The issues are deeper. In the last 10 years, have you seen real progress? It keeps decelerating. Have you ever wondered why? Because there are no fundamentals. All we have is little successes that people amplify, but it doesn't make it true. What 50 naira could buy 10 years ago, can it buy today again? We say we have gas, we are flaring gas, but we can't buy gas in our own country without having an exorbitant fee. We produce electricity, but it's not enough. Despite the fact that they don't give you power, they now come and say band A. And you're not even getting the band. The electricity agency is like bandits. Today, this morning, I had loss of power in the house. I recharged, how much? Was it 40,000 naira? And I got, I think, how many units did I get? Maybe a little over 100 units. But have you ever wondered, why is it that at some point power was a lot better then than it is today? Some people will say, oh, it's because Nigerian population grew. No. It's because the system kept on getting corrupt and more greedy and more greedy and more greedy and more greedy to the point of distortion. And if care is not taken, it's going to be worse. I don't like to deceive people, though. Yes. If the church does not rise up and speak truth to power, if the actors do not rise up and speak truth to power, it's going to be worse. If they ever told you that we can have a country where they can kidnap somebody for close to 10 years, would you ever have believed it in Nigeria before? No. If they ever told you that you will have a country where food can be this expensive, would you ever believe it? If they ever told you that Nigeria now will be so at a point that Benin Republic, their currency is bigger than ours. If you saw the front page of the Telegraph newspaper yesterday, they said Nigerian neighboring countries now reject Naira up for CFA and dollar because CFA is 650 to the dollar. Naira is 1,004 something to the dollar. And if care is not taken, it's going to be worse because at some point we are getting to 1,900. This was the same CFA that as at the early 90s, 16,000 naira was 1 million CFA. So the ingredients of national distortion, and in all of this, the political class still wants to grab power. So the ingredients of national distortion is greed. But the funny thing is, what I'm most scared about is the greed of the people. Because you see, all of these unscrupulous politicians, they have agents. Some of them will have agents in this place, isn't it? But because, and I'm going to talk to you today, because of what you want to benefit, you see the truth and you look away. You don't know you're doing yourself. Because if this country is good, it's going to be good for all of us. If this country is not good, it's not going to be good for all of us. Are you happy the way it is that as a city as big as Lagos, we don't have pipe-borne running water? When last can you open your tap and say this is government running water? And for you to still do borehole, they are going to charge you for doing borehole. But guess what? I had a friend that was telling me, I said, 1992, when he moved into his house on Mole Estate, there was pipe-borne running water that came into his house, and they said, connect to government water. So how did the situation become deplorable over the years? So these are the agents of national distortion, and that's why I say insecurity is just part of them. The same north that people used to love to drive to in the past. Very lovely roads that your car will even break down. You will sleep on the road. Are places that you can't go again because of greed and national strife. But let me tell you, they will look for all sorts of things to cloud it. They will call it, oh, it's because of tribalism.
So guys, I don't know what you make of this video. We all know who Rufai is and how he does his things. Rufai is a fearless guy, you know. Rufai is fearless and he says it the way it is, without fear, without favor. I'm just happy the way he came out to just speak, to open the eyes of people. You know, these politicians, they just keep, you know, knocking the heads of people so that Nigerians will just keep, you know, hating themselves for the sake of politicians who do not even care about the well-being of the people. Can you imagine that? But I'm just so happy the way Rufai just tackled all these points, exposing the tricks of these are politicians who do not even mean well for the people. All they know is all about themselves. It does not bother them, you know, the welfare of the people. They are just there for their own benefit. So guys, I don't know what you make of this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you. Don't forget to comment on what Rufai said, because I believe you must have taken so much from Rufai's point in this video. You can see that these politicians are ahead of 2027. There is no other strategy they have on ground, because they know they've not impacted the lives of the people. So the only strategy they can use is just division. Divide them, make them go loggerheads against one another. Then it will be easy for them to win election. But it's a pity that some Nigerians are still falling for all these their tricks. So guys, let me know what you think of this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.